Fia, olo uloto, ile manomi ole puatanoko. E ono mea tele ai su'i ai saupa asolo. Ifa apea, ole teine, e la lele ifa a ole ole. E mata ata ata ai tumo ile taufa asee.
Fatala whātua Amerika mo e lau whaafonga mai le nei fo i e fiafi, ia le fo o tātou taunu mai le nei tau a fiafi o tamari i le whengai e fo i o tātou tunu i mālo longa mai whi au mga ruenga le nei aso. Ia, ai mai se i lātou sa whengai fo i ma le whaiva o le tapua i ma tau whale mau atu i a inga. Ia, wā fo i le tapua inga o whaiva i lātou sa ngā rue. Ia, e mori atua i le fatalofa mal fa malo ile pa ile silasi o tato tunu ile fa fonga mai le taftolu tu sal fa nga malo tu ile mo manu ile fiolo fiona ko vana malu tena ko vana malau kapineta le nga te ile pa ile fona fa tu la fona yo na mauta mo ti lua la fiona le president o senate le nga te ile o sui president ma sento filfilia mai tu malo whalenga nu o tātou tunu. Whatalo what fo i le whafonga tāpo i mai e lau whionga le whonga whatalai o le mauto sui, le ngā te leo sui whonga whatalai. Ia ale maua lunga i e li imta mai tai whai pule whiliwhilia na palo taina i tūma lo wha palo tata i tasi tonu Amerika Samoa. Ma loro soi fu manuia, whatalo whatu vaenga whamsinonga, ia manatu o le nā ua manawa ngā ruenga, ua malolo mai fo i whi au mga ruenga sa whenga iai. Ia ai mai se lawa, al whatu ai ngā tausi i aso taitasi. Le ofisa mta uptau Samoa, whailau tusi, a mese o sui whailau tusi, ko vanau whalima, ia whapea fo i whalpenga mali mautofi. Ia, malo o le whainga malolo tui whale, nao si o tātou tinu. Fie fo i whawhelo e atu nei vaenga o la fiafi i le au whainga ruenga te tofi e le tua i so o se whatawhai taulanga i te tono le tunu ma lor se fu manuia ai la o maua i le nei a fiafi mātango fie ia o tātou i e fo i marolonga pape fo i o na watu le a ao le whatalofa i paanga masani a le tātou polkalame le nei Talatala le ta ui late night show ia ma le polkalame o whaingoina my view and your take. O so manatu, ma so finangalo. Ia, ma lor se fo manuia, le au te tele o tātou turu, e li matama e ta i tupulanga talavou. Ia, ai maisa le lalo vaoa o le tātou tunu umanai whana witi. Whataro whatu ma lor folau, ma lor fo i tawa ta i whea mga ruenga sa whenga i nei aso. Whataro fo i nei o ta mamati nā māti tua no whale o ama i o tau. Ia te tonu o nā sa maualo tau whasini ngā malosi tau mawhtanga o le fiafi, po tina e si tonu a inga. Ia me se fo i o i la tau a vele nei au o nanga. Ia ma se ala ata sila ma iai. e silfia e fo i mea o lo tutupu i le teimi tono o tātou tunu. Tā lofa lava, so Samoa lo fata o lo o mafuta mai so se stete o le United States, le ngate leo o New Zealand, Australia, ma so se tafa laulangi. Ia e fata lo fatu. E le ngate leo te fia fata lofa whaapitofo. Ia li matama i ta e fita. O lo o au tauina ma tautua i tonu o vai ngā awal malo tele o le United States. Leo lo fea ngai ma le tautuaina o le tātou o tunuu. E ala i o lātou whaiva wha le military. I so o lava se vai ngā au o le malo tele. A whai o tau mau o mailo leo le nei e fiafi. O le anganga o le whaatalofa ma le lima o le whaatalofa ia te utou. Malava o toa sa moa li me te mai tai. Ia o lo o ta sei ta whao taua. Ia polo iai fo i o tau wala awina. I so o se o ngā sami, so o se lau ele nei i tua whao nei laulangi. Ona o le puipuinga o saunga le mū, ma le file mū o le laulangi atoa. Ai mese lawa i le United States ma Amerika Samoa. Ma lore ngā lue, ia msalo stem fo i o le a maua so tō wanoa. Ia, whaola tia mai a inga e avele R&R. Ia, po o le angai me fo i malo lo mo sina teimi le tu mau. Ia toi tali ua toi. Fo i moi la tau o malo lo retire, malo se fu manuia, malo fo lau nei e fiafi. Ia me se fo i so Samoa o lo si mai ma o tanga senga se ia tunu ma mau. Se ili tonga fitinga a wale toi maua se malo si fa fo wina, malo se fu manuia, fa pe fo no fa talo fatu i le i si o ta ma ia Governor Lolo a Matalasi Molinga ia o lo o ia fo i ma whaata o tolia i al whalaefu le a pulisia o tō whanga i Hawaii. Ia lea ua maa ua inisi o wō sa mwhai o nā sia ia o lo o maualunga lea oina le masina i lau fionga talofa kavana ma lor so i fō manuia. Ia e mai se o tō uma lo whaata o tolia i so se maota ngā se le United States lea no tō malangatu e si mai. Whaata alofa whaapito atu tātou polkalamel nei tala ta ui mo tō uma. O le tātou polkalame muli le nei i le nei a solulu. A matai le vai a sofou o le a leto i se tātou polkalame i a fiafi o a solulu. O na i le nai sa uninga fo i o te awa i a fiafi o a solulu teitasi. Me la lea, o i le manatu o le polkalama o le a malolo e le tātou polkalama i le a fiafi o le solulu. Ai o le a whaia i le tātou pokalame i le aso ngafu, i le aso sā, aso ngafua, aso lua, aso tofi, ma le aso whareili. Ia o aso la nai lima o le vai aso o le a whatino ai le tātou pokalame. Ai le lea fiafi, ai tātou tele i alo atu le tātou topic o le nei fo i a fiafi le tātou mai mo mai Amerika Samoa. E le umis tātou pokalame le nei po. Ai ia ona tātou o e amatalia le tātou pokalame i le tātou talo masani. Ia ona tātou fo i mei loa lea, ia mo le tātou talo noina o le tātou topic o uma ona whaatulanga ina. Me se fo i o le tātou whaatalo noanga o te loa, ia o leuto ai tau nui nei, ia se tasi o company na wala au lia le tātou pokalame, e whaasoa ma le tātou tala ta ui, ai mai se o le my view. What is your take? Lo mātou te mai o ilang. Le anganga e tumu le loto māua lalo mātou te whaasifo atuai i lau fio i le nei e fiafi. E mo moli lapa o mālo i le mātou whaafitai. A wā ule se noa lava, se minute, o se tu la, o se kone o le nei aso. Sa e anga le leima e whaasoa ia i mātou. Mātou whaafitai atu i ngā ruenga tūtasi o lo walo i Jesu Keriso o lo mātou pulvanga. O ia na e fō ina mai a te mātou. E so o le vāo tangata so i fua malawa fio ina u mātou to i lalo popo i le anga sala a tamu maewa. Mātou atu i lau fio i le ngangor whaafitai le nei e fiafi. A o mātou tā pena e āmatalia le nei pol kalame. Pei lava o na mātou whaatawa nau i lau fio. Se i so ni mai, ma whao ngā ina le nei au nanga. o se awala e mātou te momoli ai se wheau, ma o ai i mātou, i lo mātou soifuanga whaale aso i le aso ma le aso. Mātou whaaftai atu i nei o mātou mātua mainga, mātou whaaftai atu i o mātou uso mātou whaafine, mātou whaaftai atu fo i lau o fio ona o whanau na e fo ina mo i mātou. Mātou whaaftai atu i lau fio i so o lava se mea na e fo ina mo i mātou le nei aso. Ai maise o le faula la i o au wha manuianga, ua le masino i la mātou filfili, ma la mātou mai tau i ai. Mātou walau atu i lau fio, ia ori tia lau fio nei por kalame le nei po. Ma ia iai lo wanganga e whaato file muina o mātou loto. A o mātou iai i le tautua ina o si o mātou o tunu. E ala i tā leni, ma mea lofa ua e fo ina ilo mātou soifua i le aso ma le aso. Mātou wala au ia te oe fio mai nganga pa ia e tauto lua ina i mātou, pe a mātou mo moe ma mālo lo i le po ana nei. Ia mātou wala whai mai fōlinga o lau fio, ma maualunga i pe alo vi inga tama. Mātou wala aua, ma tu inatu le nei te talo, e ala atu suafa o lo wala pele o Yesu Keriso. E ala atu ai le nei tāru sama, i le whaavavau lava. Amen. Toi whatalo whatu Amerika Samoa, leo tātou toi tari mai le amatani o tātou porkalame le nei fiafi pēr no talo no atu sistemi o sola, e le umis tātou porkalame le nei po tasi al tātou topic na tātou fōi mai e toi e whaalau iloa. Ona ua o manatu o le talanoanga muli lea i le procurement process al mautanga ngase. Ma o le enko muli fo i lea po le vaenga tāua muli lea. O loo fia whaailoa i le tātou tunu, peo na u whaalau loa atu. O loo i e pēa le mātou talanoanga ma le komiti whaafoi, a le whale mai, e ui lava i na le mawhai o nao mai i lunga o le tātou show. Ai o loo mātou talanoa i lunga o telefoni, ma o lātou whaasoa mai. Nisi o vaenga tāua na mafuai o na Filipi pe na o lātou fuli nai i a whaai unga. Ua mafuai o na langa la ngāwhina ngalo o le tōtele o le tātou tunu. Sa o whailo atu fo i le pō na pō. Ina ua umale mātala noanga ma le sunga ia le musu i tau. Mana ia i Silver Freund Jr. Ia, sa ia wha mamlama atoa i lava. Le pito la au fo ia sia la tau company. Ia manisio tua inga o lo o fesiringia inisio le atunu. Le fo i lau mai au na tātou tala noi le lātou. Fo i pito la au ma la lātou side of the story. Ia, a o lea la. Ua maua le awa noi le fiafil nei, o le taunu mai le tātou studio. Ia le sunga ia Melissa, a Wyatt, Melissa Bowles Pue, ia whaatasi ai ma le sunga ia Emmanuel Pue. Ia, whaairoa fo i le side la tau wa le company pe on silfia. Le company lea sa numeratasi i le technical review. Le sa auto laulau ina atu po na po. Mai, ma nei a lava lo tātou whaasoa i tū o malava o le tala le nei. Ina ia manino ma malama i ai lo tātou o tunu. Ai le whaia le tātou por kalame le episode 1, 2, 3, 4, le pō le nei o le walima. E tele le malu le tātou o tunu, sa ko mumu le malama. Sa o te whengo fia o na o whatu ua tua whapenga. O le meo le mui pōngi sa. O le winga o lau tala o le mui pōngi sa. O le toinga tala noa foi lele ma so ona talafo la fonga. E tuua i ai company e au noa ma le malama i details po facts. O lo o si o mia ai, po o lo surround ai. Ia vaenga umai o lo tātou tala noa i ai. O le autula nana lai ona o manatu au. Instead o le kalango pongsa, e le leile kako kalango malama. Le ai mafuai le aunga o aute o le porkalame nei talatala le taui i lana manu lauti. Po le slogan le talatala le taui. Knowledge is power. O lou malama, o lou malo sianga. Ia, o nisi lao mea sa tātou whaasoa i ai malalafo i ai nisi lunga o penga te whailangi. Ia leo tātou whaamao nia. O nisi o tua inga, ia na tua i ai, o le company le alumanai. Ia o loo i ai le sao te leo le fionga le fonga fitalai o le mohotau sui. Na sa ili e le tātou por kalame pe ia la utal no antun po na po. Na matua i su e lama mawā ili e le tātou por kalame. Ma o lea na utau li maina i le so. Ia le evidence lea e wha mauti no ai. E matua le ai, le ai lava, le suafa o le fionga i le fonga fitalai, i tua o company le nei, ale lumanai builders. A fai fo i o iai, ia masalo le mea fo i leo le iCloud, masalo ia wao kako, wa kele nga sefe tātou ngā ruenga i le iCloud. Ia, e ngā le kuwa iai, ia ngofu ale i lunga le cloud, masalo la i lunga le cloud, I use involvement. But as far as paperwork and evidence, ia leo o mātou tau li maina, e le aise me whapena o iai. Ia mai whaasao atu ai foi. Ia nisi o tua inga, na whaatino ma lipotia, e o tātou tangata i lunga o penga te whailangi. E o lava i tātou show, na mori tū mai iai. O le mato ngā ruenga la, i le tali tonunga tala taui. E lea o ngāra ko mumu pong sa. E le leile tātou temiran nei. Wa umar to mumu pong sa. A o lea la, wa kako ko mumu. A kako ko mumu malama, o leo kako malama lei. Sa utar no atu anu po i le me tau o le procurement process. Mai e tele i o whawhita auli. Leo tātou iloa. Tele whawhita auli o tātou iloa. Le fo insa noa i ele sunga ia le musu i tau a mana i si vana po. E le se mea la attack ai fua companies na piki, ma iai te tonu o tau fonga. A kakau kanonga sa oa i le faa ngā solonga o le process and procurement. Ia ai mai se foi, o i la tau o la whaia whai unga. Wal fisin te lea na le la whai ua tuai tātou por kalame le neipo. o ai na whaia uma nei whaiunga. Ia, se ronga o le tamaititi whato a whanau ana nafi. E le mahala malama I tangata na whaia whaiunga. O mea uma nei ua vevesi malanga langa ai whina ngalo le tunu. I le pōle nei, o le atu watu le tātou producer, nga eua ngai asin kako pese ngale se kasidunga, ai se I su mai tātou keston nei fiafi, le company le Pacific Prime Power, lea na iai lo lātou suafa, ma wha mauti noa ina o le company lea, na ave iai le whaatuatuanga atoa, o le technical review o lātou le whaia ia le nei ngā ruenga. Le sunga ia Melissa Bowles Pue, pēr mai al tātou pese nei, o le tātou kestne nā o le nei e fiafi, ma whai ua tuai le tātou porkalame. Toi whatala whātua Amerika Samoa I lau whaafonga mai nei vaenga o le fiafi le ua ma futa atu I nei ma le tātou ma lo sa longo I nātu pōna pō. Ia o ia lea e umia sa roto le company le nei mation to lua le sunga ia Melissa Bowles Pue ia o ia lea o lo o la lima mtuaina le company nei u whaingoina o le Pacific Prime Power. Pacific Prime Power I lunga o le technical proposal lea sa tuuina atu le pō na pō I lunga o le tātou screen o le company lea na ave iai le whaamua ma recommend le highly recommend le vaenga le commercial review ma le engineering review I le technical review o la tau le whaia ngā ruenga lea o lo whaia nei e company e nana. O le ale te maula I tua se mātou talanoa. A le aftu sa o lo I tātou whisiri talo fa Melissa?
Tāna whanara.
I can't believe you agreed to go live with me tonight. How was your day?
It was good. It was good. But you need to believe it. It's called transparency.
E ina I tātou tangata lai mata mai le ngana Samoa. A mesa ka māma ki ngā mākua. E mwhainta a mata mai le ngana Samoa. La lava se me te mwhai ona e tala no mai e le ngana Samoa. A le lau tam whai fasili atu i. E ina I ofisili an tapena ia e a whai e le mwhai langa leka ke live. a whea ele wheona e talia I lungo le, ia na e tala no mai lea, o lau fisili mua lava. I le procurement process le whare mai. Na I said wai loa maluto o loa mar kampania le Pacific Prime Power I le process a le LBJ procurement.
Yes. Because of our experience with the Department of Defense, I've had to make sure that I read every document to the T and understand it. Anything.
The bid document.
Yeah, anything.
Okay.
You know, because, the federal government is very, very strict when it comes to stuff like that. And we've been doing that for 11 years, together with my husband. So yes, I do have some knowledge. I believe that I do have a working knowledge of how LBJ procurement process is supposed to operate, especially for capital projects funded under federal or even the ARPA, for example, or the COVID relief programs. The LBJ procurement process, from what I read, requires a competitive bid. Technical evaluation by engineers, and awarded to the most qualified and responsible contractor. Federal procurement law, it's very important that we read those and we understand those when it comes to federally funded projects. And the procurement law that applies to what's happening here with procurement and LBJ with this project, with the ERMRI ICU project. This law is found in 2 CFR 200, and it prohibits awarding to anyone who is not technically capable. Pacific Prime Power was the only contractor that was recommended by the technical evaluators, for this project. So technical scoring exists to protect the hospital and the patients. If the technical committee determines that only one contractor is qualified, the award must follow the recommendation. It must, according to federal law. So anything else exposes LBJ to liability and federal audit issues. So I did read up a lot about it. So that right there, because of the situation and the evidence that you came across, I wanted to make sure that I pinpointed on that particular process for procurement.
Right now, there's four board members on the LBJ board right now. 2 new board members that was picked by Governor Pula and Pulu, and 2 board members left behind in the Governor Lemanu and Lieutenant Governor Lapui's administration. So one of the board member from the Lemanu administration told me one of the reason they flipped the decision and gave it to the company that are doing the project right now is because you have no record of any work executed in American Samoa or carry out a work at LBJ before. What is your take on that?
Well, we do have history with LBJ.
Walk us through. What is that?
We didn't do just any small tasks, but we did the exact type of critical work the hospital needs. Um, our power generation SME, who is my husband, um, has saved lives through emergency power generation projects at LBJ. Um, our team has over 20 years of specialized, certified experience in critical power, um, uh, critical power systems, actually, emergency electrical infrastructure and generator integration. Collectively, we bring over 40 years of experience in hospital grade infrastructure and life safety electrical systems. Um, our expertise isn't limited just to American Samoa. We've worked globally. We've worked within the United States with our expertise. We have also worked in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Djibouti, Africa. Actually, my husband was the power generation country manager for the Department of Defense, and he did that for about 11 years. So he worked really closely with hospital infrastructure and power generation infrastructure as well. So, but with the hospital, we've upgraded the power generation side of things, but we're also doing an extension for these generators as well. Because my background is in prefab steel, and that's what I did. Some of my partners in the States were actually a couple of generals in the military, so we do have that background as far as collectively, and also some of the experts that worked under my husband as well. We have one that's actually specializes in hospitals, and that's all he's ever done all his life. So
Sounds like your experience started from American Samoa before
yes,
you moved to the United States.
it
Tell us about
absolutely
that.
did. Yeah, my husband's father is John Pu'e. He ran one of the most successful trucking and machinery companies on island. He was also one of the best mechanics on island. And I remember my husband used to say, I want to be just like my dad. And I told my husband, I said, take what your dad, you can't be just like your dad. Take what your dad has learned and take it to another level. But it's just like any house, that you do build, or any infrastructure that you do build. The foundation is very important.
Mm.
That foundation, as long as it's strong, then you can take the whatever goes up to another level. And I believe that's what my husband did.
Mm.
You know.
One of my question is, were you notified? Was Pacific Prime Power notified in the beginning that you were the only company qualified based on the technical recommendation?
Yes. Yes. Right in the beginning, I was notified by a couple of engineers who are part of the project, only because they were concerned. They know my husband's background. They know my husband's background, and the engineer did express deep concern for patient safety because of the complexity of the project. They were concerned that the building, because it's extremely sensitive, and it involves emergency power redundancy and MRI electrical shielding and the ICU life-saving safety system as well. And my husband has all those qualifications, along with are guys that work under us globally. So it's nothing new to us as far as, a sensitive building such as the ER, MRI, ICU building. It's very sensitive. I was actually not going to bid on the bid on.
Really?
I told my husband.
So why you chose to submit a bid?
I believe it was something spiritual, to be honest with you, that made me bid on the contract, and I knew, because of the expertise that we have, and also the expertise collectively that's in our team, we matched every criteria that they requested and they required to build this building. And these are people that work under us, for Pacific Prime Power globally, So it's not just, it's not me contracting companies. And plus, my husband is a heavy equipment operator. So we've done drilling in the past. He has experience in drilling, so we can pile drill.
I see.
So.
Because of what happened to you and your Pacific Prime Power company at LBJ, my question is, did that have any influence with your remove puller movement?
No. No, it did not. The movement did not come from the LBJ situation. The LBJ situation simply revealed what was already there, what we already knew, all of us. The corruption. The Remove Pula 2025 movement was born from a pattern of behavior. When you look, I don't know how everybody else feels, but for me personally, when we have a sitting governor, I look to him as the father of our nation. That's how I see the person sitting in that seat. And it's one of those things where, when you're a kid, you look up to your father. A lot of kids do, especially, the sons of the household. So, it was the pattern of behavior and an example of some of those patterns, and everybody sees it. I know everybody sees it. It's a lack of transparency, the lack of accountability, and the decisions being made that do not benefit the people. And it's sad. It's sad for me to see that. And that's what drove me. And so what happened at LBJ only confirmed loudly and publicly that the system is broken. That makes me sad. I don't know about, I'm sorry. I don't know about anybody else. But I feel for our people. And I've learned a lot through the movement. My fight was not done because of what was done to me.
And your company?
No. My husband and I are well qualified and more than capable of getting any job that we want. We have DOD still calling us.
Department of Defense?
Yes. But my heart is here. I've seen a lot of our qualified people come in with expertise like my husband has and leave. leave because of the corruption, leave because of our leaders, but my heart, my husband's heart is here. It's here. And my husband is a son of Samoa. I don't know about anybody else, but I've been married to him. I'm so proud of him with his accomplishments and everything that he's acquired while we were outside. We weren't just in the United States, we were global, my husband and I. And so, my fight, like I said, is not because of what was done to me, but my fight is because of what is being done to the people. My people, my flesh and blood. There's that saying, "O le koko, ango le ele o Samoa." You know what I mean? Like it just, and I can't understand why our elders, of course some of them, not all of them are bad, not all of them are corrupt, but why? Why are you doing this to our people? And the governor, I had high hopes, the promises he made that he was going to end the corruption. That right there stuck out to me. And that was, and I thank God for, because there's a group of us, and we're all very vocal on Facebook. I mean, you see us on Facebook, you see us out on the tents, we all have a passion, and not all of us worked for the government, for the local government. One of my partners, she lives off island, but she's Samoan. She loves Samoa. But speaking about LBJ and everything that's happening with the board and the way they handle these things, she cannot live here because of medical purposes, medical reasons. She requires that specialty treatment from off island. So, LBJ was not the cause.
Of the removal?
No.
Okay.
LBJ was the proof. It just solidified why Remove Pula needed to keep on moving forward. Because our father, the father of our nation, our little tiny nation, is not doing what he's supposed to do. He's not, I wouldn't say disciplining his kids, but he's not watching what his kids are doing, if you really think about it, So whether it was my company or another company, the issue is the same. And public institutions should follow their own rules and act in the best interest of the people. Because that's what they're put in positions for. It's for the people. Mm-hmm. So I don't stand up because I'm hurt. I'm sad, and I don't stand up because the people, I stand up because the people need leaders who are honest, fair, and transparent. So this movement is not personal. It's not personal. It's principled. And I want people to understand that. So that's...
Thank you for answering that question for me. Yeah. Because some of the people they think that's the reason why you push the Remove Pula, because of the way you got hurt on this award project. So my next question is, what is your take on the board's decision to flip the decision to award the job to someone else and not the only recommended bidder? What is your take on that?
I would more say that my concern isn't that the board chose someone else. My concern is how the decision was made. And that's very, very concerning, was how the decision was made. The technical evaluation committee, including the engineers on the project, um, made their determination that Pacific Prime Power was the only, and I have to express, the only qualified and recommended bidder. So that recommendation is based on safety, compliance, and experience. It is not an opinion. It's what's stated, that what's right in front of them. These are professionals. These are people that have um, gone off island, sacrificed, leaving their families, because these are all of our, most of them are Samoan people, so they're professionals. They're certified, licensed engineers, so that it's not an opinion that they're making, you know. Um, so when a board disregards this, when a board disregards a professional technical evaluation and flips a decision without documentation, without documented justification is the way I should put it. It raises questions about transparency and accountability. Procurement processes exist to protect patients, not politics. And we're talking about patients here, patients' lives, and so my disappointment is not personal, like I said, it's principled. If the hospital's own experts say only one contractor is capable of um, performing a life safety project, why would anybody override that? Why? The Americans, our people need to ask themselves that question. You got professionals who did the evaluation, and possibly a particular board member that decided, who has no background whatsoever, and he alone will flip it. It just uh, and this whole thing isn't about who gets the contract. In my opinion, it's about who is capable of doing the work. So an MRI ICU ER building is not a learning on the job project. You know, it requires experience in medical grade infrastructure, um, hospital grade electrical systems, even medical gas, um, and the and also the NFPA and the NEC compliance. So when decision makers prioritize relationships or familiarity over qualifications and safety, the patients lose. The patients do. Not me, not my company. It's the patients.
Hmm.
When they start making, so I can accept losing fairly. I can accept that, because it's fair. And at the same time, I have no problems with, hey, I have these expertise. I am ready to back you up. And that's how Manny and I have always worked, you know, because of the expertise. So, but what I cannot accept, what I absolutely cannot accept is a process that ignores its own rules knowingly. You know, that I cannot accept. So, it's disappointing, I guess. To sum it all up, it's disappointing.
So my last question, was there any dispute letter
Yes, yes,
to LBJ,
yes.
CEO?
Oh well, actually, I CC'd almost everybody involved. Every time when I send out a letter, an email, I try to get everybody that's involved in the project on that email.
When did you send in that letter?
I actually brought it with me. So I sent the letter in on May 14th.
Okay. And you sent a letter on May 13th,
14th,
14th.
yes.
And I interviewed the CEO of LBJ on June 11th. Air that same interview the same night. And he specifically told Talatala he never received an official dispute from you guys. What is, have you follow up on that?
Oh yeah, I followed up. And when I followed up on it, the only person that responded was a procurement officer, and his response was, "We will look into it," and that was it.
I spoke with a couple of lawyers, and they specifically said you should sue LBJ and the government of American Samoa. What holds you from doing that?
I want to express how easy this case would be because of the federal law. The 2 CFR 200, and if you go and you read that federal law, you will see that the federal government, they don't play around. They'll come in, swoop in, they will do their investigation to the T. They will find the evidence, and they will start taking people, you know. But the reason why I haven't taken it, I want to see that building go up. It's been awarded to Nana's company. And, I wrote something for,
Have you watched Manaya's interview last night?
I did, yes.
So what is your, I know you guys were growing together in Arizona.
Yeah.
And now his company is taking over the project. Do you have a comment?
They reached out to me. In the beginning, right when the bid was awarded, I received an email from Nana's company. And mind you, everything that I'm saying is documented. I just want to let you know that everything what I'm saying is documented. I received an email requesting for help. And I'm going to be very, very honest here. My kids played football at Tafuna High School, and there is a Tafuna High School building that's over there. So I dealt with cement. I have one of my partners for my prefab steel company that was in the U.S. He deals with cement, so they built this thing where you could seal a cement building in case the structure, something happens to the structure, we can actually fix it. So I have access to that machinery. I haven't brought it in, but I think I should. But to go back to the email, I was looking at this building and I had asked the principal, I said, an entire year I've been sitting here watching my kids play football. That building's been empty. And the classrooms are all falling apart, you know? And I said, you have a brand new building. What's happening? All I see is condemned. And they said, well, Nana's built that. And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, how many more buildings am I going to hear that Nana's built that are condemned? The courthouse? I mean, that's millions of dollars just sitting there and it's not being used, you know, and I hear that there's issues with it. So going back to, because Manaya wasn't here during that time. And Manaya is a good friend of ours, I mean, good friends with his wife as well. And because of my relationship and my husband and I relationship with Manaya and his wife, I really felt for them. But I was not going to respond to the email because there was no way I was going to work with, you know, the other party that involved with Nana. So I reached out to Manaya and I told Manaya, I said, Manaya, I said, I know that you guys have this project. Just know that Manny and I are on standby. We are willing to help you. We have the expertise to back it all up. Every part of it, from medical grade gas. I have a plumber who is certified and licensed with over 20 years of experience in medical grade piping and gas. I have a very good friend who actually is very good friends with our family. Him and his dad, all they've ever done is build hospitals. You know, I have a son of Samoa who is a project manager. That's all he's ever done. I think the largest project he's done was $900 million. That's nothing. And I was proud, you know, when I put the bid together, I prayed about it. And I knew that there was no way that, um, you know, we wouldn't qualify for the job because we have all the qualifications, the expertise to back us up. And these are people that were going to come here. Like my project manager was going to move here and actually be permanently employed with me. We weren't going to contract anybody, you know. And with Emmanuel's expertise in machinery, we've drilled the entire Tualauta district for the sewer line. So we had to do drills. We had to drill. Manny drilled it all. And so that piling would have been easy for us. And it's, you know, with the machinery. So going back and I told Manaya, I said, hey, I heard you're coming down. And if you are going to be heavily involved with your parents' company, Pacific Prime Power will back you up at 100%. So Manaya at that time was off island. He said he was going to come down to American Samoa. And I told him, just call me when you get here. But I'm the type that likes to follow up on things. If someone's going to tell me that they're going to call me, I'm going to follow up. Hey, is this a no-go or is this a go? You know, he had surgery. And then when he was done, he said he was going to come down and he was going to call. Well, I knew he arrived. So I called him and he says, yeah, I'm just settling in. And then I'll call you, you know. And my calls were because I was concerned and I wanted to make sure that that building gets built with especially from Samoan hands. You know, Samoa needs to be proud of these people who go off island, get certified, gain the experience, and come back. But after that, it was crickets from Manaya. I didn't hear back from him at all. You know, so, you know, to me, that's unprofessional. You know, I'm sorry to say that, but I'm gonna be very transparent here. It's about time people know what transparency is around here. And it's not telling lies, it's telling the truth, you know. So Pacific Prime Power was willing to back them up. And I got crickets. And that feeling in me, I knew what was going on. So,
So now, Manaya, your friend, is taking over the LBJ project.
as far as I know, yeah.
Do you have any particular comment on that?
Um, I wish him well. I really do. I pray to God for the sake of our people that he builds a solid foundation for us all, for our children. I pray that I pray that the hands that he gets to build that building gets built. You know, forget about everything else that has happened and how they got the project. Forget about that. Right now, we're at a point where we need to build that building. That building needs to go up. So I pray that Manaya gets the right hands on it, builds the best ER, MRI building we have in the South Pacific. I want people to look at that building and be proud. I mean, we have the money. And that's the reason. This is the reason why I have not taken it to federal court. My claim, my dispute, and the whole process that led up to the awarding of this project to Nanas is illegal through federal law, and I will have an open and shut case. It'll be so easy for me to take it to federal court. If I do that, all this funding goes away. I can't do that to my people. I cannot do that to American Samoa. I can't. But I can pray for Manaya. I can pray for the people that are going to build it. And I do that all the time. We're doing the power generation project in the back. I pray that every time I see his sister on there, I pray for her. I pray guidance. I pray. I just want to see that building built right. That's where I'm at right now. And I really, 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 I wish the Furin family well. Because if I wish them bad, then nothing's gonna go right, with that project. And and who's gonna suffer? The people. Our people. My blood. I'm Samoan. People think that I'm Palangi. I'm Samoan. I'm Samoan at heart. I'm Samoan. My soul is Samoan. My dad is Palangi, but my mom is Samoan. And I was born and raised here. I know the language fluently, but for some reason I can't speak it while I'm on live TV. Thanks to you, Tom. But I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for making time to sit down with Talatala Taui. And I wish you well with all the projects you are planning to do for American Samoa in the future. And thank you very much for joining our Talatala Taui late night show tonight.
Thank you.
And there you go, American Samoa, o le whaaiunga le nā o le tātou porkalame le nei po. It was a very emotional interview. But American Samoa, le nā wautou sila iai. E le a feifeia le tātou porkalama le nei. E alu atu saoa mo lau whaafonga o na whaile iai o lau whilwhilinga. It's our duty to provide both sides of a story. And that was our view for tonight. What is your take? Le tātou o tunu. o le whai unga nā o tātou porkalame nei po. Tō whā ma le tua. O le awha pena fo yon tātou whēlua i le aso a tai au. Taimi Masani, i lunga o tautua nei, Talatala le Taui Late Night Show. That was our view. What is your take? Tō whāsui fua Amerika Samoa. Manui ale po.
Talatala